I say a prayer for him because he's obviously broken down. I think I'm in this lane, actually. Yes. So I go around him, and now I've encountered 2 more cars. And it's rush hour traffic. And they are not going anywhere either. He's not even driving the right direction. So I waited quite a while. I was getting really frustrated. I didn't know if the rapture had happened, if I was, maybe I didn't even need to go to the Chamber of Commerce. Maybe it was all over. I didn't know what to think. I finally called 911. Yes, I really did.
Really?
I said, I don't know what's going on. All these cars are just here in traffic. They're not moving.
I know it, as you did.
They're not moving. I said, I think this guy's broken down, but I don't know about these 2. She said, ma'am, we have a abandoned car hotline, if you'd like to call that. I said, no, I think it's bigger than that. It's rush hour traffic. Come on. Do you need to send somebody over? So I didn't have time. I got around these people. These are empty too. And I get up here and I turn. This is big city life. I am not in Kansas anymore, not McPherson. This is the bike lane.
Yep.
This is parallel
Yeah.
parking.
It's a parking lane. How did you get in there? You just got behind the car?
I was just going.
You were practicing parallel parking.
I was trying to parallel parking.
There you
I was trying to turn left and well, anyway.
How long did you sit there?
It was quite loud.
911 and all.
Yeah, she's probably still talking.
It's a struggle.
It's a struggle.
It's a struggle.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Ooh. So I've got my wardrobe, I've got my license, I figured out how to drive in the city. Now I've got to find a place to live. I had a cute apartment for about 5 years, but it had some really steep steps, and my daughters were like, you better get out of there. You really need to find someplace else. The daughter and son-in-law decided to build me a mother-in-law suite. Dale is not a builder. He has a very busy job, but he planned to do all the building himself. One day when it was just middle of winter and it was slow going on that house, he said, oh no. He says, Grandma, we're gonna start building the rafters tomorrow. I got out of order. He says, you wanna watch some YouTube videos with me, see how to do that? I said, sure, Dale. I'm confident that you're going to build me a sturdy house if you're learning on YouTube. Yeah. So then construction took 2 years. It really did. And when it just got really hard, and he said, why don't you find a man and go live somewhere else? Yeah. You're supposed to laugh.
I think that's sad.
No.
Yeah, that is very sad.
It's a struggle. So now I'm more determined than ever to find a man. I haven't had a man for 35 years, but I'm going to try some more.
It's a struggle.
It's a struggle.
Yeah.
I went to Hannah's church, and I was surprised by all the single, handsome men in the congregation. I don't know what their beliefs were, but I'd found my church home. My hopes were dashed when the pastor got up and said, let's pray for our women as they come home from spring retreat.
It's a struggle.
It's a struggle.
Have you been back?
Now they've left that church, so I got to start all over.
Yeah.
I was at CVS to get my booster shot. The man ahead of me behind me was getting his booster shot, and he had his wallet open to get a prescription. I said, I told him, I said, I'm looking for a man that's had his booster shots and that has some money. He said, well, I just had my shot, but my wife took all my money. I said, well, I better keep looking. as I walked away, he said, "I still have my pension." Oh, I didn't know what to do. For the first time in my life, I was speechless. Yeah,
It's a
not yet. This is why there's a HIPAA law. I've been back to CVS to see if they look through the records and see who had their booster shots that day. Yeah.
To find him.
Yeah. The pharmacist thought it was such a hoot at the time that I thought surely she would help me. No. It's a struggle. Hannah had just heard that for the first time. She said, "You went back and..." They say you can meet men at the grocery store. It's good in theory. Come on. I was at the self-check lane. Handsome man next to me. I said, "They say you can meet men in the grocery store. I think you're handsome." Oh, Lord, he sacked his groceries so fast. He said, "I'm really not here for that." He should thank me. His wife will never send him back to the store again. It's a struggle. Before I tell the next story, I made sure that none of you apply to this story description. I saw a man at the meat counter. I thought he looked kind of cute from behind, so I thought, well, maybe I need something at the meat counter. So as I got closer and he turned around, he had braided his beard into 30 little braids with beads on them. I thought, I can't be too picky. Maybe I'll quit clucking and we can read on Friday night. My latest struggle is on TikTok. One of my daughters, well, all my daughters are trying to help me get my comedy career started. But one of my daughters in North Carolina thought I needed to be on TikTok. Okay, so I handed it off to her. I don't know anything about hashtags, but I'm pretty sure adult comedy is not what she meant to say. She said, "Yeah, I've been getting a lot of odd comments." Yeah. I think maybe senior comedy? It's a struggle.
I didn't get any of that.
It's hashtag senior comedy.
Yeah.
You're not old enough.
Okay. I took the Amtrak to see my daughters in North Carolina. The train out of Philadelphia was just packed. They don't assign you a seat, you just find a seat. The conductor said, "Find a seat. It's crowded, you'll have to sit with somebody. Find a seat." This is different than the conductor that said, "Get off the train." Yeah, that's a different story. Anyway, they're so fussy about the schedule. I don't know. Anyway, I had some trepidation as I sat down next to a man that could have been Snoop Dogg's little brother. He had...
Does she know who Snoop Dogg is?
obviously.
He had dreadlocks this big, a cap, a gold chain,
She does.
and a big gold watch. And I thought, oh, 14 hours to North Carolina. He was going too. Yeah. I finally started talking to him, as you know. I really Yes. He's a school teacher in New Jersey, teaches behaviorally challenged
Wow.
kids. I would not have challenged him in his class, but anyway, at one point, several hours into the trip, we talked for quite some time. I said, "May I touch your dreadlocks?" He said, "Well, sure." And he took off his cap. I said, "Really, when am I going to have a chance to do that again?" By the time we got off the train, we'd exchanged emails. Hannah said, "You can't give your email to strange men on the train." I said, "I touched his dreadlocks." We're practically engaged. Kids kids nowadays, they don't know how to make friends. It's a struggle. When my sister died 2 years ago, 3 now, a friend of mine blessed me with money so I could travel home to Kansas. I decided I'd get a sleeper car on the train. Sleeper car has roomettes on both sides of the aisle. It's about as big as this ottoman, yes. And they have an upper and a lower bunk. As I was getting settled in, there was a group of hunky contractors that got on with their tight jeans and their hard hats. Joe, do you have room for my suitcase? Larry, I am not bumping with you again. I slid open my door and said, I have an extra bunk. No takers. It's a struggle. Yeah. My son-in-law, Dale, and I have a love-hate relationship. I think he's hilarious. He does not think I am hilarious. Yeah. I have to really be aware of his intentions and just how he's thinking. I decided I didn't always want to think of the negative things. I would be more positive and keep track of the positive things that he does for me. Let's see, they've been married 20 years. 8 things, yeah. I think that's good, yeah. He did earn some points recently. He helped me set up for a show. He got my props. And he had a song playing before the show, something about a mother-in-law. And I thought, well, isn't that sweet? You probably know the tune to Mother-in-Law. Mother-in-law, mother-in-law. Do you know the lyrics?
No.
Mother-in-law, 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 mother-in-law. The worst person I know.
No.
Mother-in-law, mother-in-law. If she'd leave us alone, we would have a happy home. Sent from down below. Satan should be her name. To me, they're about the same. She thinks her advice is the Constitution, but if she would leave, that would be a solution. How do you subtract on
That is not a real song, is it?
this? The counter, huh?
Is that a real song?
It's a real song. The counter was really his idea. We had quite a bad day one day, and he said, Grandma, I want you to get one of those little counters and count all the negative things you say. True story. I'm on my 3rd one. It's a struggle. In a new twist, I had a man come to my house. He was invited over to sign me up for Medicare. When he got to the medical questions, he asked if I had a mammogram lately. Yes. He said, that must really hurt if you're small-chested. Oh, yes. And went on to say, you know, Dolly Parton, that probably doesn't bother her. He went on to say that he had been in 2 other women's homes that came on to him. And I was like, good grief, buddy. When he left, he forgot to take a little box that he had in my windowsill. He said it was a hot spot. Griff thinks it was a camera. If I thought it was, I would have given him something to talk about. Yeah. He wants to come back and talk about more Medicare. I think we're done. It's a struggle.
Is that for real?
Yeah.
Somebody should straighten her out. Yeah.
These stories are all
All
true.
True.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. What'd she say?
Yeah, I've got to figure out how you usually start it.
If they're comedy or tragedy. What?
That's your calling card to read your slogan.
A good friend of mine found a very nice man with online dating.
She pulled out her ticket.
Look, I I'm the comedian. Try
I'm just the roadie. I have no control over the.
to. Wow. Wow. Would you like to join in? It's a struggle. A good friend of mine met a very nice man with online dating. I've done it before. It's so irritating. You know how it works. You browse for free all you want. But if you want to actually communicate with these people, you have to pay extra. The daughter said, Mom, just pay some money and meet somebody. Just do it. So this past week, I got my first match. He lured me in with a picture of his Harley in the background. Yeah. So we start. He asked if we'd like to text or talk on the phone. Don't give out your phone number, ladies. But I did. When he texted me the next day, he says, "What are you doing?" I said, "What are you doing today?" He said, the only 3 sentences we had in the whole relationship. "Oh, I've been in my pool today, took a shower. Would you like me to send you a selfie?"
What?
I said, "From the shower?" He said, "No, from my bed." It's a struggle. Yeah. He's probably also selling Medicare. I think he's probably going to homes and yes. A flight last month was a mess. We just got settled in on the flight when there was a mechanical issue. I texted my sister-in-law that I would be late getting into Wichita. She says, "Why don't you do some of your comedy on the plane?" I thought, well, I've got some of my props. She's generally a little more reserved than that, so I thought, well, why not? While I tried to get the courage up to do that, we all had to get off the plane because of a storm. I had some of my props in my carry-on, in my bag, so I ventured out to entertain the masses in the terminal. You can picture this. Here you are, you've taken time to come, you've made reservations, got a babysitter, paid your